Hey guys, and welcome to Off the Mark, and thanks for tuning in for our first video of 2015. This year promised to be an absolutely massive one for us, with the World Cup coming up, the men's and women's Ashes, and the Champions League, among many other exciting series planned for 2015. So stay tuned for more from us this year.
Yeah, definitely a big year ahead for us. Now, on other topics, a big issue that's been prevalent in world cricket right now has been India's refusal of using the decision review system in all of their test matches. We decided that we'd analyse and discuss as to why India is so negative towards the DRS as a result of their recent test series against Australia, and focus on how their rejection of the technology is hurting their ability to win matches.
Yeah, absolutely right. And now the DRS, for a bit of background, has been in place in various forms since 2009. In the last few years it's been placed on a standardised system, and now teams get 2 unsuccessful reviews every 80 overs. Currently, in most test playing nations, the DRS utilises a slow motion camera, a super slow motion camera, a hotspot infrared camera, and a Hawkeye tracking system for your LBWs. As it stands, India remains the only holdout of all the test playing nations in using the DRS.
So, in showing why India are so against the DRS, I think Sanjeet, it's first important to look at their reasons for rejecting it in the first place, so that we can get a better understanding of their point of view. In an interview with Sambit Bal on Cricinfo in December 2012, BCCI President N. Srinivasan clearly stated that India was against the use of the DRS in international cricket because, as he quotes, it's a contradiction. The umpire's verdict is final, and that if a player was to refute the umpire's decision according to what we're used to, he would be fined. So Srinivasan feels that the DRS is an insult to the umpire's authority, and that the use of the 2 referrals is causing grey areas within the decision making. He says with the DRS, you won't even need an umpire at all. Just refer all the decisions that come your way and let it be automatic. Srinivasan also believes the technology used is not good enough, and that the 2012 test series between India and England showed chinks in the accuracy of the DRS technology, with much controversy being sparked between the 2 sides. Despite an overwhelming 96.5% accuracy in the decision making of the DRS, Srinivasan believes the technology is still not good enough, and that when asked by the other boards to take a leap of faith and trust the system, Srinivasan argued that on pure scientific terms, there was no need for an expression like that. He claims that cricket is a game of glorious uncertainties, so why not keep it that way? Which goes to show that there is no need to overcomplicate the game with the DRS, according to him. Not only Srinivasan, but a few other former and current international cricketers have expressed their concern for the DRS as well. West Indies fast bowler Joel Garner claimed that the system was a gimmick, and batsman Ramnaresh Sarwan showed severe discontent with the DRS in its formative days. Pakistani spinner Saeed Ajmal expressed disapproval of the DRS in the semi-final of the 2011 World Cup, when one of the balls he bowled appeared to show more deviation than it should, according to Hawkeye. The DRS has been designed to remove bad umpiring decisions, or howlers as they're referred to in international cricket. However, time and time again, we have seen that the batsmen are sometimes misusing the DRS as a get-out-of-jail card to extend the life of their innings when given out by the umpire. One prime example was during the 2013 Pakistan-Australia series in the UAE. In the first test, Mitchell Johnson bowled a fast in-swinging Yorker straight at Hafiz, who began hopping around like crazy as the ball hit him flush on the foot. It was a clear plumb LBW decision, and Hafiz knew he was gone for all money, but he still decided to review the decision anyway, purely to extend the duration of his innings. It is this misuse of the DRS that the BCCI feels is very laborious and time-consuming, especially when it's clear that the umpire has not made an error in his judgment at all. Another prime culprit who constantly misuses the DRS to desperately try and stay and keep batting is Shane Watson. His notorious habit of constantly reviewing plumb LBW decisions has become somewhat of a recurring joke, and can desperately slow down the pace of the game. Of course, like any piece of technology, the accuracy will never be 100%, and it takes time for any new change in the game to be fully appreciated. There was a lot of outcry and dissent towards the DRS in its early stages because it appeared to have a few flaws and failed to achieve what it had been designed for. However, as Sanjeet will highlight, the DRS inherently achieves what it aims to, and India's resistance towards the technology is only hurting their own performances.
Although there are a number of proverbial chinks in the armour of the decision review system, the BCCI stance towards it is one that we at Off the Mark feel should be revisited. As previously mentioned, the BCCI refuses to utilise the decision review system as it does not provide 100% accuracy. A key part of this being the so-called umpire's call portion of the review system, whereby the on-field umpire's decision will be upheld in the event that the DRS cannot conclusively overturn the decision, or that the Hawkeye tracking system, in the case of an LBW, determines that less than half of the ball was either pitching in line with the stumps or going on to hit the stumps. As it stands, there's a growing feeling among the Indian camp that many of the marginal calls from the umpires tend to go against them in the first place. These marginal calls cannot be overturned by the DRS as it stands today, as they fall under this category of umpire's call. With this in mind, the BCCI feels that, okay, since the marginal calls are going against us, why have the DRS at all? Frankly, we at Off the Mark feel it's outrageous that any international and matches involving India are the only ones in the world operating without the DRS. Not only does it highlight the distorted power that the BCCI has over the ICC, but it also highlights how the BCCI's stubbornness with this system is hurting its own young men, the players of India who are fighting on a tough tour of Australia. If we look at this at the most basic level, umpires have a ridiculously difficult job. If you take a moment to stop and think, you'll realise how amazing it is that they get the majority of their decisions correct at all. In a single delivery from a pace bowler, an umpire must not only check the front foot no ball, but also decide if the ball has pitched in line with the stumps through anticipation of the ball's speed and trajectory, also decide if it's hitting the batsman in line with the stumps, and based on how the pitch is playing, also determine whether the bounce was appropriate enough for the ball to go on to hit the stumps. That's a lot happening in a couple of milliseconds, and with all this going on, there's going to be bad decisions, or mistakes as they are known to the average human being. There's no avoiding human error, whether an umpire is standing at the other end of the pitch deciding on a decision, or sitting in the stands viewing all this footage and making a decision based on their interpretation of the footage. There will always be a human element in umpiring. Dhoni and the BCCI's argument that the line decisions always go against them and thus provide them with a justification for boycotting the DRS is an extremely weak stance. The DRS was never created for the marginal decisions. These will always be a byproduct of the human condition. The DRS was intended for the horrific decisions, the howlers as they are known, and India, and Australia for that matter, have copped a fair few in this series. Now, even if we try and sympathise with the BCCI and concede that the Hawkeye and hotspot systems still have a few flaws, we still cannot understand their outright refusal to use the DRS. India didn't need the Hawkeye or hotspot system to tell them that Shikhar Dhawan was not out when a bouncer from Mitch Johnson hit his shoulder on the way through to Badminton. They didn't need hotspot or Hawkeye when Ajinkya Rahane was given out caught at bat pad with no bat involved, or when Cheteshwar Pujara became Josh Hazlewood's first test wicket caught off his helmet, or when Riddhiman Saha was given out in a similar manner to Rahane at bat pad. All crucial decisions, all crucial wickets at crucial points in the game. Now, what was needed to overturn these decisions? No Hawkeye, no hotspot, just a simple slow motion replay. A portion of television broadcasting that has been around for about 4 decades. You don't need any fancy or inaccurate tools, as the BCCI calls them, just a simple slow motion replay. It is extremely weak for the BCCI to say that Test cricket doesn't need the DRS. Modern technology offers the option of removing the howler, and whenever India are playing, this technology is simply going to waste. Regardless of anyone's personal views on the DRS, how batsmen use it, and whether it has room for improvement, it inherently achieves its goal, that is, to remove the horrific decision. It's not in place for the marginal line calls, it's not in place to be used by batsmen as a Hail Mary, and it's definitely not in place for Shane Watson to review LBWs when he's plumb in front of middle stump. It's there to remove the horrific decision. We've tried looking at this from the BCCI's perspective, and we still don't agree with their inflexible stance. At their absolute worst, the BCCI should be agreeing to use general replays that can be used to clearly identify if a decision is correct or not almost immediately.
Alrighty guys, so as you can see, their stance in boycotting the DRS is only hurting the men of the Indian cricket team who are just looking to win games for their countries. I mean, who knows how this series might have panned out had these decisions been overturned. India may have gotten closer in the Adelaide and Gabba tests, or they may have been further off the pace had Australia overturned a few poor decisions thrown their way.
Very correct.
But regardless, it's clear to see that the BCCI's steadfast view on the DRS is hurting not just the Indian cricket team, but the sport in general.
Very true, very true. Unfortunately, guys, that's all we've got time for today. We really appreciate you watching. Let us know what you think about the DRS in the comments. Do you think India should use it or not? Don't forget to like and subscribe as well. In addition, if you ever feel you're not getting enough off the mark, head on over to our brand new website, www.otmcricket.com. The description is below.
Yeah, well, that's all I've got time for, guys. Thanks a lot, and we'll see you soon.
See ya.
Salada.
Slada. Slada.
He's going to review it.
England fancy getting in like that. He's going to review it.
There we are. Hit him right on that off stump.
I reckon this is going to be out. Yeah, it's got to be hitting that off stump, doesn't it?
Oh, that's hit in line, and that's hitting. A waste of a review.